Well, I could call on John Bruce to introduce our guest speaker, Christiano Grosso.
Thank you, Brother Carmen. A couple of weeks ago, State Council were casting around for a guest speaker, and thought, hey, why don't I get somebody who's been to World Youth Day? And I think there's 10 state councillors, and they've sat there. They pulled my hair out, and I said, we've got this young guy at St Clement of Rome, Christiano Grosso, and he went to World Youth Day in Madrid. And Christiano's here to tell his story. But I'm going to do a Tom and Jerry here, because I'm actually the Jerry, and Brother Paul's Tom, and he's going to introduce Christiano.
Yes, Brother John. In welcoming Christiano as our guest speaker today, I'll just give you a taste of his background so that you can understand where he comes from. He can tell you what he does. But Christiano is a secondary teacher and currently retreats and staff formation leader at Mazenod College. He's had 10 years plus for the Marist Youth Ministry, Oblate Youth, and across the Archdiocese of Melbourne, and in sale. He's a Master of Teaching, Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Theology and Italian. Who would have guessed that?
Bravo.
Jesus known and loved amongst young people. He loves music, he loves soccer, he loves travelling, and he loves reading and spending time with family and friends. So I'm quite sure there's much more that we'll know about Christiano once he's spoken to us. But I want you to put your hands together for Christiano.
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank you, John, for the invitation. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Bishop Les. And thank you for having me. It's great to be here. It's a bit of a blast from the past because this was actually my old primary school before it closed, St Clair's. I was in the final year that we were in existence. So this was actually the old art room. And where we had lunch was my grade 5-6 room. So it's good to be back. I haven't been back in 20 years. So, well, not here, been to Mass there. But anyway, so it's lovely to be here. And I'm going to share a little bit about my experience to World Youth Day that I just came back from about 2 months ago. It's gone really quickly, but it was an incredible experience on a lot of levels, different levels. So I'm just going to share a little bit of that, a piece of that, because there's so much to say. Where do you start, where do you end? But anyway, so as Paul said, I'm a teacher at Mazenod College, so I'm involved with the Oblates of Mary Immaculate at the moment. And this was really last minute. I wasn't planning on going to World Youth Day till probably 3 months before the event. I was asked by our provincial, Father Christian Finney, is there in the photo there, if I would come to be part of the Oblate youth group going to World Youth Day. And we're all, as you can see there, we're actually all professional people. No under 18s. We're all either teachers or nurses or doctors or speech pathologists, but we're all involved or connected to the Oblates in some way, either in Oblate parish or an Oblate school. So I went with the Oblates and we tacked on to Wagga Wagga Diocese with Bishop Mark Edwards, awesome bishop, who was our chaplain for one of our chaplains for our experience. So reason being, Bishop Mark is an Oblate, so we thought we'll tack on with Wagga. So this is us at Melbourne Airport. before leaving, we're all very this is just the Victorian part of the group. We then met up with the rest of them for our pre-retreat. Our pre-retreat was in the Holy Land, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that because that was mind-blowing in itself. We were there for 10 days in the Holy Land and then 6 days at World Youth Day in Lisbon. So I might kick off with the Holy Land. There we go. So we landed in Tel Aviv and we made our way down south, and I started to learn all about Israel and Palestine. I didn't know too much about, and of course we keep them in our prayers at the moment with the terrible things that are going on there. But we had to go we started off being in Israel territory, and then we had to go into Palestinian territory to start at Bethlehem. And of course, it's a bit of a confronting experience because there's checkpoints and there's all that army and military. I won't bore you with that, but it was a bit confronting just to be checked and all that. But anyway, we came to Bethlehem, and Bethlehem for me was one of the two really, or maybe one of the three really powerful spaces for me and for the group. What you see there on the screen, actually, before I say that, we had an awesome Eastern Catholic historian with us as part of teaching us as we went to different places. And he told us at the start, guys, we're going to either go to a space or a place. He said, if I take you to a space, that means that the event happened around this vicinity. But if I take you to a place, this is where tradition says this actually happened. This really happened here. This is where Christians have preserved it for thousands of years. This is where it happened. So we started off in a place, the place where Christ was born. So Bethlehem, as you go in, it's from the outside, doesn't look like much as a church, just brick, no colour, no nothing to it. But you go inside and it's filled with Catholic, Orthodox, and Armenian Christian art and all the rest of it. So to go into the place where Christ was born, you're actually going underground. So you go in this little chapel here, and then that takes you down. So this is the entrance to it, if you like. And you go down up here. So it's actually, that should be there. That should be one, and this is two. And so this is where Jesus was born. And there's actually a star on the surface there. And we went there late at night. It was quite quiet, and it was a moving experience because you get there and everyone is in silence, and you walk into this underground chapel, and people are kissing the spot. People are holding their rosaries and there's objects on the spot, and they're praying and they're crying. It's a very moving. Explain it, but I had to stop and think. Jesus was born. God was born. Wow. That was one of my highlights. That's that place. Put this in here. This was the dividing wall between Israel and Palestine. So we're really at the border, and on the other side was where there was trouble brewing, but we were kept quite safe throughout the whole time, which was good. But yes, that was just a reminder of obviously the conflict. We then, after Bethlehem, we're there for a night because there's really just that to see. And we went to the shepherd's fields and saw some caves that had been turned into chapels where the shepherds would their flock when it started raining to keep them safe at night. But other than that, we started to make our way back up to Israel because Bethlehem is south. So we went up to the church station where Our Lady visited Elizabeth and made that long journey. Actually, there's this beautiful church there to mark the space in which it would have taken place. So this is some of the art that we see in the churches there. It's very beautiful. So I took photos of things that I really like, so that's why you'll see that there. Then we went to Galilee, and Galilee was probably my second out of the three really moving moving experiences for me. This is the Sea of Galilee. This is the sea where Jesus walked, where Jesus calmed the storm, around which he did 80% of his teaching and preaching and miracle working. So I just stopped there it wasn't intended to be a post, but I was just looking out and I was thinking, oh gosh, God himself walked on this water. Wonderful. Then we had Mass on the Sea of Galilee on a boat, which was really crazy. And I've got, I don't know if that will work there, Andrew, but I've got a video there. I'll just ask for Stephen to play that.
I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours. You are mine. I will call.
Beautiful. So, but it was very moving. And then we had 3 priests with us and Bishop Mark, 3 oblate priests. And the priest is Father Josh, who did the homily during that mass. He actually asked us to close our eyes and just to be in silence and to listen to the sounds and to imagine Christ. So that was a beautiful, moving moment. Then we saw a few other things. Obviously, we couldn't see everything, but this was a nice moment of us singing in a chapel that's also underground, where Jesus is believed to have given the Our Father to his apostles. So we actually sang the Our Father as a group, which was quite beautiful. Andrew, you might want to play that just for a quick second. Thank you.
Just dance it again.
Will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses.
That was beautiful as well. Something really nice that we did every time we went to a spot, we'd pray a decade of the Rosary, remembering that mystery. And Bishop Mark would lead us in that, and that was really powerful because it would prepare you for the space that you're entering. And there's our clergy that we had with us, and this was outside the Mount of Beatitudes, where Jesus gave the Beatitudes to his disciples. So we had Mass. We just set up Mass everywhere. It was great. Baptism at Jordan, which was beautiful, but we were only allowed to be in a very small contained area of it. Strauss was a military guy with his equipment in case anyone tried to do anything dodgy. So we were allowed to go in for a split second. So we renewed our baptism promises, which is beautiful, and bathed in, well, not bathed, dipped our toes in to the water that Christ would have baptized. Well, he would have been baptized by St. John the Baptist. Then Jerusalem. Jerusalem was my third really big highlight. We went to the place where Jesus ascended, so we all did a bit of a funny little picture there, looking up as Bishop Mark. And then this is outside. This is in Jerusalem. Obviously, that's the mosque there. But yeah, so that was our group. It's me at the Wailing Wall. That was an experience as well. But this was a beautiful experience. We did the Stations of the Cross through the streets of Jerusalem, leading to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Christ was buried and where he rose from the dead. So it was very moving, and we all either had a chance to carry the cross or to say one of the stations. And the stations are actually, you can actually see there if you look really carefully, that's station number 9. So they're actually marked all throughout the city. And sometimes you're in a marketplace and there's a station there. So that was beautiful. And then that led us here. And this would be my third and probably the biggest moving moment of this part of the experience. You couldn't take photos, but you got me there walking into Jesus' tomb. And you could only be there for 30 seconds. If anyone's ever been, what a
Pretty quick.
yeah, they pushed out pretty quick, they do. And they've got an Armenian priest there because the Armenians are in charge of that. Lucky them. But you have to be appropriately dressed, or else you can't go in and all the rest of it. No skin, except I had a little bit of skin, but yeah, particularly down that way. So yeah, you get 30 seconds with the tomb of our Lord, and you get to touch it and pray with it, and then they move you along. So that's the entrance to the tomb, and then you go up to the place where Jesus was crucified. So you actually, what you see me doing there, and there's a bit of a gap there, a hole, and everyone puts their hand in. You actually touch the earth where it's believed that his cross was placed inside. So very powerful, very moving. You've got people really, in tears and praying and all the rest of it. And then just to the left of that, there was a space where you could light a candle or candles and pray for your loved one. So this was a very moving moment for me as well. I was praying for all my students, for my colleagues, for my parish, for the church, for the Holy Father, for our bishops, for all those suffering. I'm also, so it's just a beautiful moment alone where Christ died and resurrected, and I offered my prayers there. Then we went on to World Youth Day. So we started in Fatima, which is very close to my heart because my family is actually from Fatima, believe it or not, Portuguese. And so this is where I think my faith story sort of begins. So very special to me. I've been quite a few times, but it's always awesome to go back, and it's a place where you really feel at peace. And I have a very special relationship with Our Lady. So it was awesome to go back, and we assisted a mass with many bishops of the world and the Patriarch of Lisbon. This was the day before World Youth Day started. So it was beautiful again just to be there, to visit the homes of the children that saw Our Lady, to pray there, and to just be still, and to thank God for gracing us with this visit from Our Lady 106 years ago. Last week, actually, last week, the miracle of the sun was last week. So that was beautiful. And then World Youth Day began. Now, they say World Youth Day, but they mean World Youth Week. Yeah, I've always wondered. So it starts with, so this is the opening mass. So this is in Lisbon, so about an hour out from Fatima. This is where perhaps the first few days things took place there. So the Pope isn't here yet. So it starts with the Patriarch of Lisbon does the Mass, celebrates the Mass, and you have probably half of the people have arrived by then. So I think we had about just shy of 1 million, or maybe hit 1 million there. But then each day more people come. So that was beautiful. And the video here is just a short one. I could only take shorts, but it's us sort of just getting ready before Mass. You're meeting people from all around the world. And that was what was so encouraging. Like they say the church is not, there's no young people in the church, or the church is shrinking, but you go to different parts of the world and the church is actually booming. And all up there was 3 million young people from all around the world. And it was just so encouraging that the faith is alive. It's just maybe where we are, it needs us to sort of do a bit of heavy lifting. It was just the atmosphere before Mass. But yeah, our hotel was actually up here somewhere, so we were really close to the venue, which was beautiful. But yeah, this is our group just before Mass. We're all very excited, and yeah, we took a photo there, but it's absolutely packed. So you're sitting on the floor, on the grass, and they've got screens everywhere, because, you know, unless you get up very early and you camp out or whatever it is, you don't really get to the front. You first in best dress kind of thing. But no, it was beautiful. was a beautiful start to the World Youth Day experience. Every morning we'd start with catechesis, which they called Rise Up. And it would be, so you'd go to a church or a hall and you'd be mixed with people from different communities all over the world. So we had Irish Catholics, Canadian Catholics, Mexican Catholics, I think, as well. And you've got activities, get to know you stuff, then small groups, and you share about your faith, and they have discussion questions and that kind of thing. And then you hear from a bishop. So a bishop is assigned to every group. So we had an awesome bishop from Ireland, and he gave a bit of an input and then listened. And just if we wanted to share thoughts or insights or questions for him, there was an opportunity for that too. And then we'd have Mass. And we'd plan the Mass together, and everyone would have a role, music or reading or whatever it might be. So it was very beautiful. And we're very lucky because this chapel, for the period of World Youth Day, was home to see this little gold box here, the brain of St. Thomas of Aquinas. Oh, wow. So that was really special to be in the presence of one of our awesome doctors of the church. Just to be there, it was really mind-blowing. But yeah, this was every morning. So basically the World Youth Day would pretty much work out like this. You start the morning with catechesis, Mass, and then you go off for lunch. Then you've got an app and you pick workshops, or you can go, they had a whole park, imagine sort of like a Flemington race course, and they've set it up for reconciliation all day. You can go anytime, and there's priests there. They called it the Park of Mercy, which was quite nice. And then they had a section for concerts as well. So you could go to the Park of Mercy, you could go to a praise and worship concert. They had headline Christian artists, Catholic Christian artists from all across the world, which is great. Or you could go to workshops. So that was really cool. So it was up to the individual then to choose how they spent that. But anyway, this is quite exciting. The Pope arrived and I got pretty close to him. So I'm going to just play this video to show you how close I got. But it was bananas because everyone's climbing on top of each other. They're trying to get a photo or trying to get close to him. But this is when he rolled into Lisbon. Because he came to Portugal earlier, but he was doing the rounds, meeting different people. He went to Fatima first as well. And then probably day 3, he came to greet us. The phone, but it was lovely. And it was what was surprising. He didn't have a bulletproof roof over his automobile, but yeah. So that was, he did the rounds a few times. That was really cool to be there, to be with him. And I might just share a few words that he said at that time. He said, and they stayed with me. He said, "You're here for a reason. The Lord has brought you here." This is when he greeted us. And then he said, the church is for all. He said, todos, 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 which means everyone, everyone, everyone. This is your home. You are welcome here. So it was very beautiful to hear that. Those are the first remarks of Pope Francis. He later gives some really, really deep ones that I'm going to share with you later. This was awesome. I got to see Bishop Barron, who's one of my favourites. They call him a modern day Fulton Sheen, I think they're right. So we had catechesis with him one morning. I found out where he was. Had to do a bit of investigative work, but we found where he would be, and he led catechesis and adoration, and it was beautiful. So I got quite close, and something that stood out to me was he said this beautiful thing, and I thought I might share that with you, because he's talking about being in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament. And at school, we're very fortunate at Mazenod to have the Blessed Sacrament there on a Friday. I mean, we have Mass every day for people that would like, but the Blessed Sacrament's exposed all day in the chapel on the Friday. And sometimes, you're too busy and you're just trying to mark work or catch up with kids or teach, But I thought this was really profound. He said, to pray is to waste time with God. I love that. And he said, you can say, I've been in front of the Blessed Sacrament for an hour. Couldn't I be doing other things? Shouldn't there be somewhere else to go? The answer is no. There is nowhere else you should go. Lord, to whom shall we go? Only you have the words of everlasting life. I thought, well, wow. When I get back to school, I'm going into the chapel for adoration because it's not wasting time. That's exactly where you should be. I thought that was just profound. But yeah, what an opportunity to see Bishop Barron. And then the final mass was a sleep out. So we sleep out in this big field, open field, and it was 3 million young people from all over the world. And it's quite an experience. I don't know if I'd do the sleep out yet, but it was fun. So it was very hot, by the way. And we're waiting. You get there early to get your spot, and you set up your tarps and your sleeping bags and all that. And then you're sort of just waiting for the sun to set, because then that's when the Pope will arrive. And he led us in adoration that night. And then there was a bit of a concert for him. But for us, it was a different performers performed, but religious music and things like that. But it was beautiful. So this was us getting ready for the Pope's arrival. And this is me waking up after the sleep back, which is, yeah, you can see it. We didn't really have much sleep. But the video just shows us. Everyone's sort of getting ready, everyone's full of joy and full of life. And the Pope's coming, we can hear him, they've got the music on, and people are just excited. So it was quite cool. And then, of course, we wake up. I might just say this. We wake up, and this was quite unexpected. We woke up to sunrise. They had a DJ set in the morning by a priest. A priest that's a DJ. So this was quite interesting, but woke us up, and he was DJing, mixing some of Pope Francis's speeches into the music. And this got the youth up on their feet and excited just before Mass, because we had morning Mass. This is the final day. So that was quite cool. I was going to share it with you, but I thought it might shock a few of you. So you can look it up on YouTube. But that was quite different. But the Pope really emphasised that we meet the youth where they're at, and we start where they are, not where we want them to be. So that was an example of that being done in practice. But here's some beautiful words of Pope Francis. This one he actually addressed to his brother bishops whilst he was there, but I thought it really spoke to me, just where I'm at in my life, and I didn't know that I was going to be coming here, and life's tricky and we're still trying to work out what the Lord wants for us. But he said this: as soon as the apostles get out of the boat to wash their nets, Jesus gets into the boat and calls them to lower their nets once more. At moments of discouragement, when we want to retire, let us allow Jesus to get into the boat again. And with the excitement of the beginnings, an excitement that must be regained, reborn, and relived, he comes to us amidst our feelings of solitude and crisis in order to help us begin anew. The spirituality of new beginnings. Do not be afraid of this, for that is how life is. We fail and we start over. We grow weary and we find renewed joy. We put our hands into the hands of Jesus. Today too, he stands at the shore of our lives. Put out into the deep water and let down your nets for a catch. And when you lose excitement, when you find 1,000 justifications not to lower the nets, and particularly that sullen resignation that is like a worm eating at the soul, brothers and sisters, we are surely living in difficult times. We know that. But the Lord is asking his church, do you want to leave the boat and plunge into disappointment? Or will you let me enter and allow the newness of my words once more to take the helm? So that really spoke to me. And this was what he said to the youth. Today, as much as ever, the words spoken by St. John Paul II at one word this day ring true. It is Jesus whom you seek when you dream of happiness. When you find little that brings you satisfaction, he is there waiting for you. He is the beauty that you so greatly desire. He is the one that instills in you the thirst for fulfillment that does not allow you to settle for compromise. He is the one who urges you to set aside the masks that deceive. He is the one who enables you to understand the deepest desires of your heart and to make the decisions that others may want to discourage you from taking. Jesus is the one who stirs within you the desire to do something great with your lives. Not be afraid to entrust yourselves to him. So, my brothers in Christ, it's been a pleasure to share this with you. I pray for blessings on your community here, and thank you for having me. And I pray that we can keep hope alive. Don't be discouraged. The church is going to be born again, and we have to help that, and we have to encourage our youth, support them in our parishes, in our schools. Bishop, please keep supporting the youth, and don't not believe in us because we're there and we just need that support and encouragement. God bless, guys. Thank you.
That's passion. That's passion. That's what I want to see. We need blokes like him in the nights. So, but first of all, like I think I said during lunch, I've just come back from the Medjugorje, Lourdes, and Fatima, and I think the first anybody asked me, I said, in Australia we feel as though faith is not here. But I tell you, overseas it is big, and where you were on the ground there, that area floods.
Oh, absolutely.
That floods 6 months a year floods. So you picked a good time not to. For World Youth Day was picked at a great time because it's amazing, and that is such a long area. Can I say one thing about Fatima?
Absolutely.
And I didn't even know the story until I went there. But on the 13th of the month, they get up to 400,000 people where they assemble where masses. And I said to myself, I can't see how that could be. The night I went there was about 3,000-4,000, but on the 13th of the month, they get 400,000 people there every 13th of the month. So it's amazing. And if you had 3 million people, so amazing. But any questions to Christiano?
Cristiano, you accept the invitation to come to our parish and speak to us?
Where is your parish, brother? Where is your parish, brother?
It's in Kilo.
It's in Kilo.
Avondale Heights.
I would love to.
Right, of course, there's.
I would love to.
Yeah. So that's what we've heard today. That's passion, and he speaks brilliantly, and that's what we need. That's. I mean, you really enjoyed it, and that came across like that. So, any other questions, Christiano?
Well put, Christiano. Brother Clint from Mildura here. That was very well presented. I attended World Youth Day in 2011 myself.
That's Clem. From Mildura.
Oh, thank you, Clem.
Yeah, that was very, very well done. Yes, it was a good crowd. Yes, you said the figures were right, 3 million for the final closing mass. I probably slept 2 hours that night. Yeah, so that was good. It was enjoyable and brought back memories.
Thank you. I now would like to call upon Brother John Bruce just to give a vote of thanks for you.
No problem. Thanks, man.
No. What a journey to go on. To be taken through the Holy Land, finish up in and all those other people who are sharing the same experience. Now, you can hear the enthusiasm in Cristiano's voice as he was talking. I just wish he'd stay on and enthuse us too. It's never easy. But I think that we were talking about schools before lunch, And I think with Cristiano there, our schools are in safe hands. And the students are in safe hands in terms of being taught about our faith, taught about the realities of what's in the Holy Land. The same as Carmen has been through the Holy Land. I've been through the Holy Land too. Probably there's a few others of us have, and we know what it's like, but we don't know what it's like today. It's a different story. But Cristiano, thank you for coming today and sharing your story. We're all much better off for your book, and thank you very much. Look, I appreciate it.
Oh,
no.
oh, John, you shouldn't have.
Now, suggested that Cristiano with a name like Christiano Grosso would probably have liked a bottle of wine. But nobody gets any better out of a bottle of wine except the porcelain. So I thought, an orchid. So Cristiano, that's yours to share with your family. And I know that they will share it as much as you do. Remember us when you do.
I will. Thanks.